from the innocent, unsuspecting masses to a global predatory elite, international and domestic. Those domestic, they ride on the gravy train. Oh yes. And they rule the domestic economy on the Jar's behalf. In 1933, was it? There is a book outside entitled The Prohibition of Riba in the Quran and Sunnah. I mean, some of my books I know a little difficult to read. You need some Tylenol tablets. I have one book you will enjoy reading. It's a travelogue. Travelogue is very nice. You enjoy the travelogue. But the prohibition of riba in the Quran and Sunnah, you may take it up a few times before you read it. But I also have the Gold Dinar book letter. But in this book, I have given you the story of what happened in the United States in 1933, I believe it was. That the American government prohibited the use of gold as money. They demonetized gold. Prior to that, gold coins were in the market. They demonetized gold. It's no longer legal tender. They went one step further and they prohibited residents and citizens of keeping gold. You can keep jewelry, but you cannot keep gold coins and gold bullion. And they gave you a certain amount of time to get rid of it. Sell it to the government. And if you were caught with gold coins or gold bullion after that cut-off date, you'll be fined $10,000 and spend 6 months in jail eating apple pie. So, American people rushed to sell their gold to Uncle Sam at $20 an ounce. Uncle Sam printed the paper and gave them $20 US greenbacks for every ounce of gold. And they trusted Uncle Sam because Uncle Sam was clever. He wrote on the dollar bill, "In God we trust." In God we trust, yeah. Uncle Sam was really clever. But the American people were so foolish. The foolishness is existing up to this day. Up to this day. They can't see. After all the American people had sold their gold to Uncle Sam, the US government, and the Federal Reserve really, then in January 1934 perhaps, the Federal Reserve, which is a private bank, decided that the US dollar will change in value, go down in value, like the ringgit. And so now, today it's called devaluation. 1 ounce of gold, you'll have to buy it with 35 US dollars, not 20 anymore. And then Uncle Sam, the US government, withdrew the prohibition of the use of gold as money and withdrew the prohibition of people keeping their gold. And whispered, "You better come and buy back your gold quickly before I change the price again." So the American people rushed to buy back their gold at $35 an ounce of gold. At the end of the day, after they had bought back their gold, Uncle Sam was left with 41% of the gold in his pocket. By this simple mechanism of changing the value of the money. He had ripped off the people of 41% of their wealth. That actually, in my opinion, that was a trial run. You know, if you buy a rifle, before you go to hunt, you want to test it out. Shoot, testing. So this was the trial run in 1933-34 to see whether the system will work. And then after that, they proceeded to attack and to reduce the value of every currency. And then finally, even the US dollar itself. So that the American people will now lose their wealth again. The US dollar was $20 for 1 ounce of gold at that time. Guess where it is today? About 1,400? 1,500? Look at that. It looks as though the US dollar is crumbling. Last thing I heard about it is what is it? In the ICU, the intensive care unit of the hospital, collapsing. And as the value of the money falls, there's a massive transfer of wealth from the unsuspecting innocent masses to a global predatory elite. What will Allah do? What will Allah do to the ulama of Islam who will allow this to happen? There's a hadith in the Sunan of Tirmizi, I believe, narrated by Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, which should make the scholars of Islam terrified. The Prophet said, "Yushiku ya'ti ala nasi zaman." It will not be long before that time comes. La yabqa min al-Islami illa ismu, when nothing will remain of Islam but the name. Masjid is there, Surah is there, hijab is there, cap is there, baju what? Baju. Whatever it is. All the external trappings of religion are there. Oh yes. But the religion has fled. It's only the external shell that is left now. Nothing will remain of Islam but the name. وَلَا يَبْقَى مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ إِلَّا رَسْمُ, and nothing will remain of the Qur'an but the traces of the writing. Because nobody goes to the Qur'an. That the Qur'an could teach you what is money. مَسَاجِدُهُمْ عَامِرَةٌ وَهِيَ خَرَابٌ مِنَ الْهُدَى. At that time the masajid would be grand structures, but devoid of guidance. Yesterday, the masjid was built with mud walls and a thatch roof, and when rain fell it used to leak. Yesterday. But now they're multi-million-dollar structures, grand structures, iron and steel, but devoid of guidance. And now listen to the last part of the hadith. Ulama'uhum. The ulama of that age, of those people, with the grand buildings of masajid. Sharrun nasi mimman tahta adim as-sama. They would be the worst people beneath the sky. The worst people beneath the sky. No wonder that nobody quotes this hadith. When last did you hear someone quoting this hadith? Nobody. Nobody quotes this hadith. No. Ulama'uhum sharrul nasi mimman tahta adin as-sama. The ulama of those people at that time will be the worst people beneath the sky. Min indihim takhrujul fitna wa fihim ta'ud, said the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They will be the center of the fitna, which corrupts and destroys the faith. And so we live now in that age when this monstrous, this colossal betrayal of Islam has already taken place.